Husband, wake up. I've got a wonderful surprise for you that I know you're just gonna love. You'll love it. You'll adore it. You'll even cherish it. It will make your day. No! No! Not just 5 more minutes. I know what that means. That means like significantly more than 5 more minutes. I mean, I have to admit though, you do look cute when you sleep. But you look even cuter when you're awake too. So get up. Get up. Get up. Come on. Get out of bed. Please, hubby. I beg you. Please, please, please. Okay. My begging is over. I shall now commence more advanced negotiation tactics. If you do not get out of the bed within the next 15 seconds, I will give you at least 1 hug. Possibly. Probably more. Yes. There we go. Now, spread your arms open wide for me and hug. I hope I'm not too cold. I'd hate to make you freeze when you just left the warmth of your blanket. You, on the other hand, are so warm. It's just perfect. You can hug tighter, you know? My spine is still absolutely in one piece. Well, okay, my spine isn't exactly one piece. Then I wouldn't be very flexible, but you know what I mean. Oh, am I too tight? I can let go. Now, for the surprise. The surprise is... Dun 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 dun! It's a snow day! And that's putting it lightly. It's like someone took the Atlantic Ocean, turned it all to snow, and then dumped it on top of us. And you know what that means. You don't have to go anywhere. Schools are canceled. Workplaces are canceled. The only thing that isn't canceled is our time together. So come on, let's spend time together. Let's do cute couple things. We can play games affectionately with each other. I'll start. Let's play a guessing game. Husband! I'm shocked you would even think of that. Appalled even. Flabbergasted. Do you truly think I would use my magic snow powers to cause this snow day just so we could spend the day together? Don't you have any idea how much damage this ridiculously large amount of snow has caused? I must have caused? It must have caused at least $1 million in damage. Think of all the caved-in roofs. Or of all the lost labor hours due to workplaces shutting down. I'm purely innocent, despite any evidence to the contrary. But enough about that. You're changing the subject, aren't you? The real issue is, how are we gonna spend our day alone together? What game do you want to play first? How about we have a staring contest? I know I have an unfair advantage since I can stare at you for hours without blinking. But, tell you what, I'll play with a handicap. I'll lose if I blink once, and you lose if you blink 100 times. Or maybe we can do something else, like a memory game. Not to brag. Well, okay. Maybe I am bragging a lot here, but I am super good at memory games. I'm like an elephant. I just never forget. For instance, I recall the first and last name of every woman who has ever hit on you. Many of which mysteriously developed hypothermia. They really should have dressed in layers and not in those showy, provocative excuses for clothing. Oh well. Happy little accidents. Oh. How about we play some tag? Sorry, sweetie. I know this is another game that I have an unfair advantage in. After all, I'm so good at chasing you down. I did it all the time before we got married. Without any regrets, mind you. You gave my legs quite the workout. Look, see for yourself. With you staring like that, maybe you can beat me in a staring contest. Anyway, tag might be a little bit much for you, since I'll never let you get away. I'll pounce on you like a tiger. My predator instinct is a little too strong with you in my sights. Along with some of my other instincts, obviously. Oh, but maybe we can use a handicap in this game too. That might even the odds a bit. I could wear a blindfold if you like. You still won't be able to get away from me. Nothing will let you do that. But if it gave you more of a fighting chance, you know, it'd let you put up more of a struggle. That could make things fun for both of us. And I'm sure you'd like the sight of me in a blindfold. Though, even when I'm wearing one, I'd still be able to catch you from your scent alone. Your scent is so unique to you. It's branded in my memory. It was like that the very first moment I met you. Oh, but don't worry. That's not to say you smell weird or bad. You smell fine. Fine. Very fine. Oh, what were we talking about again? Oh, right. My game suggestions. I'm really sorry, sweetie. I know I suggested some pretty childish games. Sorry. I know I'm mentally a 12-year-old. But if you like, we could play a more adult game. What do you say? Like chess. I'm not good at it, so maybe I think it's the only game where you have a fair shot at beating me. I have made some pretty chess pieces out of ice for the board, though. They're in the freezer, actually. They're nowhere near as beautiful as the pieces I made of you, though. Of course. But maybe you don't want to play any games. Almost anything will be fun if we do it together. Although, if you are up for a game, we could play Truth or Dare. I personally prefer being dared. Because you know I'm up for anything. But if you don't want to play any games, that's fine too. What's important is that we're spending our time together. We could have some sort of indoor date today. I mean, it can't be outside because of the ungodly amount of snow, which, let me just remind you again, is not my fault. But yeah, doesn't that just sound so absolutely lovely? I have this whole list of things in my notebook that we could do as fun date activities. I have lots of time to brainstorm and write them. Because, well, I don't have anything else to do when I get lonely because I'm awake and you're still asleep. For instance, we could watch a movie together. That's always such a classic option. And of course, since I am your loving and understanding snow angel. Gosh, I just love that you called me your snow angel. That's such a cute and adorable pet name that you gave me, and I just love it so much. But because I am your loving and understanding snow angel, we can watch whatever movie you want. Seriously, go ahead and pick. You know I'm not controlling. But if you don't have any idea of what you want to watch, then might I suggest a horror movie? That way, when you get scared of the monster or the alien or whatever it is, you can just cling on to me. You can put your arms around me tightly and maybe rest your hand on my waist. Or even lower. Or better yet, I could pretend to be scared if you're feeling into that. I could cling on to you and you get to act like the big, strong man protecting me. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever raises your spirit. Among other things. In fact, if you'd like me to recommend the specific horror movie, then how about The Stalker of Oakview? Though, to be fair, everyone says it's a horror movie. I think it would be more accurately classified as a romance movie. I mean, the female lead was always watching the male lead to make sure that he was safe. And when she protected him from all of his awful exes that could never love him like she did. And even when she sent him letters and roses every single day, even when he would try to move away again and again, which is actually kind of sweet, playing hard to get like that just to give her the thrill of the chase. The two of them are such a cute couple. No wonder they drew so much attention, even from federal law enforcement. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. I didn't mean to spoil the movie like that. I'm sorry. I don't suppose you could just forget everything I said. No? Well, I suppose we'll have to watch something else then. Assuming you still want to watch a movie anyway. Because we don't have to watch a movie, sweetie. There are so many romantic things we can do together. Like, how about we make a time capsule? We can collect all of our little memories together and put them in a nice metal container. We could even make it heart-shaped. Cliché, I know. But I like the idea. It would be a monument to our love story after all. And our love story is such a really sweet one. We could put in one of those candy bars you like inside the time capsule. Remember when the candy bar you liked was discontinued? They weren't making it anymore. And you couldn't get your favorite candy bar any longer? We can't have that. Because you're the sweetest, most precious little darling in the entire world. And if you want your favorite candy bar, then damn right you're getting it. That's That's why I had to track down the old employees and interrogate them to figure out how they made the candy bar when the recipe was such a closely guarded secret. We could even include the recipe for the candy bar in the time capsule as well. Though, maybe we could add a little addition to the recipe. At the end, we could say the most important ingredient is a snow angel's love. Gosh, I just love that pet name, Snow Angel. I love it so much. I love you, I love you, I love you, sweetie. I just want to kiss you all over until you have more hickeys than eyelashes. But back to our time capsule. Our lovely, lovely time capsule that we can open together in 30 years or so. And I emphasize together because we will definitely still be married together in 30 years since we will never separate. We're destined to be together for all eternity. And I will brutally crush any destiny to the contrary. Mark my words. But yeah, what else could we put in our time capsule, my darling? We could put old photos of us in there together. Maybe even some more innocent ones. Oh, what about a copy of our marriage certificate? I mean, you know, the real one. Not the fake one that I forged early on in our relationship. I think an obvious choice is a copy of the first love letter I sent you. We would have to get a very large time capsule for that, though. Because, after all, remember how my first love letter to you was so many pages long? It was more like a love encyclopedia. I still remember you were all, "Oh, there's a package for me." And when you opened it, there were just pages upon pages of me pouring my heart out to you, confessing my love to you, saying how much I adored you, saying all the things I love about you, saying how I love your hair, every single strand of your head, how I just wished I could caress it all the time, how I wanted to collect every single hair that falls off your head and keep it and preserve it for all time, because every last part of you is absolutely precious and priceless and worth keeping and protecting. I still stand by what I said. Maybe we could even put some of your hair that I'm safekeeping in the time capsule. My sweet love letter where I also talked about how much I love your fingerprint. Yeah. You must have been so confused when you first read about how much I love your fingerprint. You did read my letter back then, didn't you? Well, I'm sure you must have because you're such a sweetheart. But I remember my letter just went on and on about how unique you are. How not only are you so precious that your preciousness is just one of a kind. You know, a cake can be sweet, but it's sweet like a cookie is sweet. It's not special. But you're different. You are special. Your sweetness is a one-of-a-kind sweetness that can't be replaced or replicated anywhere by anything or anyone. And that sweetness, alongside all of your other wonderfully unique qualities, is symbolized by your fingerprint. And that's why I love it so much. I even have a poster of your fingerprint. That's absolutely how splendid it is. There was even a picture of your fingerprint in the letter, so you could see yourself how wonderful and beautiful it is. Of course, there were many other pictures of wonderful and beautiful things in that letter. It was all about you after all. For instance, your eyes. Your eyes are really just the prettiest in the world. I could stare at them for, well, you know how long I stare at them. You've told me several times it was making you uncomfortable. I'm so glad you can communicate with me like that, by the way. You know, communication is key to any relationship. That must be why ours has lasted so long. Though I'm also pretty sure being bound by fate plays a part. But back to your eyes, sweetie. They say that the eyes are windows to the soul, which must be why I love staring into yours so much. It lets me look at your soul and see for myself that you really are my soulmate. No wonder I get lost in them forever and ever and ever. Until, of course, you tell me, honey, it's time for bed. Or whatever it is that you say anyway. Sadly, I can never hear very well when I'm lost in them. Even after you're asleep and your eyes are closed, I still like looking at pictures of them so I can stare into your soul. Oh, dear, I'm sorry. Am I making you uncomfortable again? I was staring too intensely, wasn't I? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Do let me know if there's anything I can do to make it up to you. And I do mean anything. Like, how about cooking? In fact, that's a fun activity we can do together. There are so many ways we can do that. We can cook each other meals. I can cook all of your favorites. And you don't need to worry about trying to tell me which ones are your favorite, because I know them all already. After all, I keep track of statistics like how many times you ask me for a certain food, or how likely you are to finish a certain meal, or what percentage of food you'll leave uneaten for certain meals. You know, normal things any good wife should keep track of. And as for me, even if you don't know what my favorites are to cook them for me, it's absolutely, completely fine. Anything you make me is my favorite, because it comes from you. I'd even eat it if it was burnt. I'll approve of it even if the FDA wouldn't. Or we can make it some kind of competition. You know, like the ones you see on TV? We can try competing to see who can make the same dish better, or we can decide on our own dishes to make. Ooh, or maybe one of us could make lunch and the other one makes the dessert. Wouldn't that just be so cute? Although you might be fighting an uphill battle against me here because I'm such a good cook. You do have first-hand experience, and I went all in on honing my skills back when I was trying to seduce you with my cooking prowess. It was a bit of an overkill in the end, since it turns out you're not the pickiest of eaters. But still, it really came in handy since you love my cooking so much. Which is why I love cooking for you, sweetie. especially since I don't have to worry about drugging the meals I make for you. I remember back in the early days of my cooking lessons, I focused on making meals with flavors strong enough to mask the taste of the drug instead of focusing on making meals that tasted as good as possible. Back then, when I first asked you to come over to my place, you just agreed. I never thought in a million years you would accept me that easily. Since it turns out I never had to drug you, I had to quickly switch out the meal I was gonna give you with the backup that wasn't drugged. Love can be funny like that sometimes. But yeah, you're probably not gonna beat me in a cooking contest. Unless we judge each other's meals. Since I'm so biased in your favor, that should at least cancel out my superior cooking skills. Though, to be honest, I'll probably just grant you an automatic win. Though at that point, I guess it's not really a contest. So how about something more cooperative? We can try making something together. Like how about one of those smoothies where it's just 1 cup and then there's 2 straws in it for a couple to share? Isn't that just so sweet and romantic? Or maybe we could try baking. The 2 of us could make some amazing cream pies. Whatever you're in the mood for, really. But geez, all of this talk of food is making me hungry. I could really go for some of your cooking right now. I really just want you to fill me up. With your cooking, I mean. Or I can just cook for you. We don't really have to overcomplicate things with cooking competitions or cooperative cooking activities or anything like that. For now, maybe I can just make you a snack to hold you over. And then you can decide later. How about some shaved ice? Actually, you know what? Sorry, I can make that snack for you a lot. You're probably tired of it. But can you blame me? I'm a Yuki-onna. Though, I think I do know of a snack that you're probably not tired of that you can have. So, how about we roast some marshmallows over the fireplace? Oh, wouldn't that just be so romantic? And since it's all snowy outside, it would just be so fitting. Maybe we could even cuddle under the blanket together. Oh, and we could have hot chocolate too. And not just the hot chocolate with teeny marshmallows that immediately dissolve either. I'll get some extra big marshmallows to put in your hot chocolate because you deserve to be spoiled with this drink that is more marshmallow than liquid. If that's your preference anyway. Normal hot chocolate is also on the table. What? What do you mean it's not cold enough for any of that? Wow. Do you feel that? It feels like the temperature just dropped. Naturally, of course. Just enough to put us comfortably into romantic cuddling by the fireplace temperatures. Again with all your accusations, husband. I am highly offended that you'd accuse me of using my snow magic powers to lower the temperature just so we could cuddle by the fireplace. And maybe a bit more if you're in the mood for that. But yeah, you're right. I'm guilty as charged. But it's too late now. You have to cuddle with me by the fireplace now. The temperature demands it. Look, I even got out this 2-person bedroll for us to share. all sat out by the fireplace. And look, it even has your favorite pillow. The one that says yes in capital letters on it. I'm glad you finally saw reason enough to join me by the fireplace like this. Although, I do feel kind of guilty relaxing with you like this. Like, maybe we should be more productive in doing some chores. Maybe I should be doing a load of laundry or something. You of all people know I can handle a load. What? Oh no, don't worry about me, honey. I'm fine. The heat of the fireplace isn't too much for me. Thanks for worrying about me, though. It means the world to me. It's so validating. Your fear of the warmth is too extreme even for me. But don't worry. I'm not going to melt. The only thing in danger of melting here is my heart if you keep giving me those puppy dog eyes. Gosh, I love you so much that I want to kidnap you. But, I mean, you're kind of already trapped here with me by the inclement weather, so... Mission accomplished? How is the temperature for you? I mean, you're not a Yuki Onna, so obviously I don't think it's going to be too warm for you. But, are you cold? If you'd like, you can wear my sweater. It's a bit too big for me, so I think it might be just the right size for you. A perfect fit. Of course, if that's not enough, there's something else of mine that's a perfect fit for you. That will keep you nice and warm. And we can always get some exercise if you're cold. That'd warm us up. There aren't too many ways that we can exercise inside, but I can think of at least one. Well, just think about it, sweetheart. You know my offers are always open to you. Among other things. Hey, can I play with your hair? Caress it a little? Thanks, sweetie. This means so much to me. And I'm not talking about me caressing your hair. Okay, well, I am talking about that. But not just that. It's so much more. So much more. It's that you're always so accepting of me. I remember when I first visited your house. You were expecting someone to come over and fix your Wi-Fi. And I knew this, of course, because I was stalking you from the first time I met you until we finally got married. But since you were expecting someone to come and fix your Wi-Fi, I took the opportunity to dress up as a technician and everything. I even bought a van and painted it with the logo of the internet service provider. And I paid a bunch of money to get an expert makeup artist so that I would have a good disguise and you wouldn't know it was me. It was a lot of effort, but it was so worth it when I finally got to step foot in your house. And you invited me in so kindly. You even let me use your bathroom. And didn't really raise a big fuss when I was taking too long. Not because I was actually using it, but because I was fangirling and hyperventilating a bit over finally being inside your bathroom. And could you believe me? I mean, your toothbrush was right there. The very thing that touches your bare teeth. I wanted so badly to snatch it and take it from myself and cuddle it to sleep and everything else that you could think to do with a toothbrush. But I resisted. I thought it would be too improper. Granted, I was masquerading as an internet service provider's technician in order to invade your home. But taking your toothbrush was where I drew the line. Then you just watched me work while I fixed your internet. I had to actually learn how to do it in order to be convincing. I didn't want my cover blown after all. Talk about devoted, right? You know I'm the most devoted wife out there. It's not even close. But then, as I was fixing up your internet, you told me. Do you remember what you told me? You told me if you wanted to come over, you should have just asked. I'd be glad to say yes. You didn't have to pretend to be a worker. I was so embarrassed. I wanted to run out of the room crying. But you calmed me down and assured me. You told me everything was okay. That you're not offended. You also thanked me for fixing the internet. Then, when I asked you how you knew it was me, you replied the temperature dropped as soon as I walked in. It was so obvious in hindsight. I can't believe I didn't realize it then. And I guess it didn't matter in the end. Because you accepted me. You always accept me. Even when I was being so unreasonable on our first date. I remember that was when we held hands the first time. It was magical. Breathtaking. I never wanted it to end. I wished our hands could remain intertwined for forever. So as soon as I held you, I froze our hands together. Sorry, not sorry. But even though a normal person would have been alarmed, to say the very least, you just chuckled a little. And then you made a cute little pun. You just said, "It's cool." It was so corny, but it was also so sweet. You're just always so sweet. Remember when we were cuddling for the first time? I wasn't very good at suppressing my chilliness back then. So you were shivering while you were cuddling me. You were freezing to death, but you didn't want to let me go at all because you didn't want me to feel neglected. You didn't want me to feel alone. And that's why I promise you I'll always return the favor, my sweet, sweet husband. I'll never let you feel neglected. I'll never let you feel alone. I will always keep you company. Every single night. It'd be my pleasure. Because I love you. I know I say this a lot, but I really do love you. I'm not even sure how to properly put it into words, but I really, really love you. Every morning, every afternoon, every night. I'll never stop loving you. Not even for a second. I loved you yesterday, and I'll love you tomorrow. If my love for you could be measured in some kind of unit, if it could be even calculated by some kind of a machine, the number would be beyond trillions and flow off the screen. Every mathematician would be appalled. If my love for you was a liquid, it would submerge the world. If my love for you were a gas, every last person would choke on it as it replaces the atmosphere. That's how much I love you. And I really do mean love. I'm not talking about jealousy. I'd give my life for you. I'm not being selfish or possessive in my love for you. But to be fair, I am the jealous type. I am so the jealous type. I wish I was the only one who had eyes, so that I was the only one that could see you. I'm not even just talking about other women. I get jealous when even animals see you. I get jealous when a pesky fly on the wall sees you in its primitive, blurry vision. If I didn't restrain my jealousy, who knows what would happen? But I restrain myself because I don't want to be an unreasonable wife. I don't want to cause you trouble. You're my beloved husband, and you deserve a life free of trouble. But I wish I was the only one who had ears. Then I'd be the only one to hear your voice. Even if it was just to hear your voice. Even if I couldn't hear anything at all. Anything else. I wish I was the only one to have ears. That I could have your sweet, precious voice all to myself. I'd be the only one to hear you say good morning. I'd be the only one to hear you say good night. I'd be the only one to hear you say I love you. Wouldn't that just be wonderful? Well, for me it would anyway. I know it's unreasonable. It's an unreasonable fantasy. For me to have all that love to myself. But it's hard not to be that unreasonable and jealous when you're the best husband I could ever ask for. And I ask for a lot. Because you know how needy I am for you. Do you remember when we first got married? Those first few months? I'd always ask if you really loved me. I was in such disbelief that you actually married me. Every morning when you woke up, I'd ask you if you really loved me. If you were just playing some sort of cruel joke on me. I'd ask the same thing before you went to sleep. But you were always so patient. You never got angry. You never got annoyed. You would just assure me, yes, I really love you. I love you too, sweetie. Especially when you put up with my neediness. Like, in the mornings, I'll always beg you to stay in bed with me for just a few minutes longer. On my hands and knees, I always beg you. And then after we've cuddled for a few minutes, I'll always ask you for just a few more minutes. You know how I get. You started setting your alarm early so we could wake up for some cuddling. That was so thoughtful of you. Though it's a little difficult to wake up so early when I keep you up so late. Thank you so much. You've given me so many reasons to love you. Because there are so many things that you've done for me. And there are so many ways I can repay you too. We still have so many of our days left together. We can spend it however we want to. But if you'd like to cuddle a little bit longer like this, then that's fine too. Anything with you is fine. Because I love you. I love you. I love you, husband. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.